All right, Jim Hightower is available for your questions, comments, and conversation, and he's going to repeat the questions so that everybody can hear. And I'd like to recognize Gay first, but that's the end of it. Jim will take it over from here.
Okay.
What's your question, Gay?
I've got a question about what I call home rule, Jim. The idea that one side of town, other side of town, breaking down the walls, whether it's organizations sharing resources, there's always that sense of it's ours, and if we share it with you, we've got to give up some amount of control. Talk to us some more about how we break down that sort of, because I've run into it in community organizing myself.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think the way too much of our organizing and our politics have been, we need you to help us on this or that. Instead, go to them and say, we want to help you on whatever it is you're working on. Tell us what you're doing, and tell us how we can help you. And you don't come with an agenda, you're accepting their agenda. And you're asking them to allow your assistance into it. And that is a big change. And I think it'll open those doors. And again, I know you just don't go up to a door and do that. You've got to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 community leaders who are willing to listen to you say that. And if you say that, then I think they might give you a try. And then if you deliver on that, then they'll come to your side of town.
Considering the dire straits of journalism in Texas today, how much do you miss Molly Ivins?
Yeah, how much do we miss Molly Ivins?
Now we're down to one. We just had you. We had two before.
No, there's more than me. There's in Texas, no. But it's not just Texas. It's her voice and her humor
Absolutely.
and her poignancy across the board. Her ability to tell stories. You know, that's and I think it's a nice departure I might take here from that comment. That our side gets too immersed in facts, too immersed in trying to dump our whole load on everybody, whether at the door, at the supermarket, in a television interview, or where. When we need to tell stories, we need to get back to that notion of the bigger picture of how this person in front of you might care about what you're talking about, not about the issue you're talking about, but about the broader concept. My friend Van Jones pointed out to a group of liberals once that Martin Luther King Jr. did not say at the Lincoln Memorial, "I have a position paper." And we need to recognize that and tell more stories. Like I talked a little bit about public financing and campaign corruption, big money corruption in politics. Molly told a story years ago about a state senator who got elected from out in West Texas and came to the Capitol. And of course, right away was confronted by a lobbyist who said, "Hey, I need your vote tomorrow in a committee. Here's $200. And he put the money in his pocket and said, "Well, this is going to be a good deal." Next day, though, lo and behold, the new senator votes against the lobbyist bill. And so the lobbyist grabs hold of him and says, "What the hell are you doing?" And he said, "Well, the other side offered me $400." And the lobbyist, then just burst all over him and talking about integrity and and the senator straightened himself up with all the decorum he could and said, "Well, you knew I was weak when I took the $200." So that tells the story better than just, we need campaign finance reform. Because it's not about the occasional bribe-y, but the whole system's a bribe, and that's what we have to fix. So that's Molly, and that was her at her best. So yes, we miss Molly Evans. In the back area, down here.
I have a question. In your vocabulary, have you run across kleptocracy much?
Yes.
Do you think we're living in a kleptocracy?
Oh, absolutely. The question is, have I run across the term kleptocracy, and do I, yes, and do I think we're living in a kleptocracy? And of course we are. Kleptocracy is a government by thieves, kleptocrats, and that's what we But we have, and it's not the members of Congress or the actual office holders. They're the pawns. They're the little things that are moved around. It is the money powers, the kleptocrats themselves, that are ruling us, and we've seen that in all of the what I call lazy fairyland ideology of the last 30 years, and with a vengeance over the last 10 years under the Bush-Cheney regime, in which deregulation was considered godlike, and government was the devil, and all any regulation was an abomination, and therefore we had to do away with it. And now we're paying that price with the Wall Street collapse, with the BP oil catastrophe, with the egg problem we have right now. Who inspects the factories for eggs? Nobody. Nobody inspects them. Nobody goes to the factories. These are not farms. These are factories. There's 7 in those 2 farms. They call them farms. That's what the New York Times call them. They have 7 million chickens. That's not a farm. They have them in these egg cages. It's grotesque. And disease is inevitable. Disease is a constant. And if a disease hits this chicken, it rifles right down the whole factory. It's inevitable. We accept giantism and we accept deregulation, and then we get contaminated eggs. Hello, our breakfast is a mess. So it's not a surprise. So that's kleptocracy. They stole our common sense government from us, and then that does damage to us at great profit to them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it not true that kleptocracy wouldn't exist if you didn't have the weak politicians in Congress who are willing to take this money?
Well, yeah, but I mean, but that's easy. Oh, he's saying that, well, you have the kleptocracy, but the politicians are willing to take this money.
They're the weak ones, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's easy, but they're not the kleptocrats. They're the screw-ups, you know, I mean. And then the media also is at fault for this, because they don't cover enough of this on just a regular basis, so we know it on a routine kind of basis. It goes on, and the media likes to say, well, it's a controversial thing, and so there's this side and there's that side. Well, there's not. There's one side. These people are stealing from us.
There's a group of people in Santa Fe called Journey Santa Fe who sort of follow you quietly. And they've been together for about 3 years. And they've worked with a man named Craig Barnes, who's a local author and has a program on Saturday about democracy and the loss of our value system. A great spokesman for all of the things you talked about. And they work with Mark Sardella, who's had 30 years of experience with green energy and local energy movements and initiatives. And on Sunday, September 12th, at the Travel Bug at 11 o'clock, they are also working with Mark Rudd, who is a former weatherman and the founder of the SDS, on how to organize and create a progressive movement here in Santa Fe, and with Carol Oppenheimer and Morty Simon, who are the 2 people who changed the minimum wage so that New Mexico has the highest minimum wage in the United States. And it's several different components coming together.
Well, that's a good start. I mean, that's an example of what I'm talking about. And she is saying that there is a group called
It's Journey Santa Fe.
Journey Santa Fe that's having a meeting, and they've got one coming up on the 12th, Sunday, September 12th at 11.
At the Travel Bug Bookstore. To talk about all of
to begin to talk about this, and that's one place to do it. And so go there, but have many.
Yeah.
Have it in your own home. Have it in your own pub. You know, have it wherever. But we need many of these discussions, because there's not one place, one brain going to have the solution here, as we've learned the hard way. It's got to percolate up from the grassroots level.